Hey guys, Josh with LynkSpyder and LynkSpyder Surplus Sales. Today we're going to do an overview and functional review of the YoloLiv YoloBox Pro. In 2022, YoloLiv reached out to us and asked us if we'd be interested in testing one of these devices. As you may or may not know, we don't accept free stuff from vendors. We don't really even like to do the loan and review process because if it's something that we want to review, we want to make sure that we don't have any outside influence. But it was an intriguing device. We didn't really know much about YoloLiv at the time, so we thought we'd give it a shot. We did purchase this from BH Photo in New York in 2022, and this is the device that you see in front of us. And if you're not familiar with what the YoloBox is, it is a switcher encoder, and that means it allows the input of multiple signals. In this case, it can receive 3 HDMI signals and a USB signal. And since the time of release, it also allows some external inputs, and we'll discuss some of that too. But if you can check in our picture-in-picture, you'll see we have a device plugged into USB 1. We've actually got one of these Mocos 4K cameras. They're a relatively inexpensive 4K camera if you're using something in like an encoder where you can receive an HDMI signal. These work pretty well. They have replaceable lenses, and so you can do a multi-camera setup, relatively inexpensive with really good quality. In this particular case, we're actually using the USB output instead of HDMI because that allows us to power the camera as well, and we don't need an external power source. So we've got that one plugged into the USB port, and I will switch over here and show you what you're seeing. This is actually a shot of the YoloBox itself, and as you can see right here, we've got the USB input. If we wanted to add another video source, which would generally auto-populate, but I could click here, and if I had something on any of the HDMI ports or local video, a stream, as I said, since the time of release, they've added a couple of externals. One of those externals is NDI, and NDI is a protocol that allows to pick up of wireless cameras or wired cameras on your network. In this particular case, if I was to select NDI, it's going to give me a warning and tell me that this is a trial version. You actually have to purchase a license for your NDI. We've not done that. It's not something that we're interested in doing, so that's why you see this. It would actually, if there were an NDI camera on the network, it would show it right here, and in this particular case, it would run in trial mode. Okay, so going back over on the right-hand side, these are various options that you can select. I'll tell you what, let me turn off my picture-in-picture here. There we go. You can see some of that stuff a little better. These are all of the audio options. It actually has external audio source and can pick up the audio from the camera, and you'll control a lot of that here. You can do some simple graphics like a scoreboard. You have some switching adjustments that you can make. Auto switching means it will just kind of bounce back and forth from camera to camera, and you can control all of that. This is all of the various settings. We currently have this set up. It actually doesn't say program out, even though we are outputting program. This should actually be enabled. You can turn that off, and that way the output is just the actual feed that you're receiving. Okay? So going back here, the other things that you can do is you can add various things. So let's say we wanted to add a social media lower thirds. We'll do a YouTube. I'm going to click on this guy right here, and it's going to ask me to select all the templates and the settings. I'm not going to make any changes right now. I'm just going to say done. And once I've done that, you'll see in the top right that is enabled, and I can just click on that, and that will turn on and off as I click on it. Okay, so that's kind of the same way the multi-camera option works. You will select all your cameras. You can have a primary feed. You can create picture-in-picture, or you can bounce between each camera. And again, there is some auto switching capability that you can use to automatically select. Okay, I'm going to turn my picture-in-picture back on right down here. If you look on the front, we've got the 3 HDMI ports. We've got the USB port. We've got an HDMI out. That's what's plugged into our iPad for our Mevo multi-camera to capture this. Then there's some various, there's actually a USB-C port. That is a port that allows you to save all of this data directly to a hard drive or to do some transferring from the SD card, which I'll show you in a minute. You've got a mic input as well as an audio out, and then you have a USB-C PD port for charging this. We're currently running this on its internal battery. It's got a pretty good sized battery. Will run for a couple of hours. If I were out in the field and I was going to be doing some games most of the day, I would make sure I used an external power. And that's pretty common for most of our devices. We never like to rely on the internal battery, although this one has been pretty stable. I'm going to get you a view of the front here. This is the, it's got a little bit of a delay, sorry. There we go. This is a standard 1024 tripod mount. This is the slot for the SD card. There should be a protector because we always had an SD card in there. I couldn't tell you where that is, so this, when this is sold, it will not come with one. And then I'm sliding over here. Again, a delay. Okay, you got your power button right here, and just to the left of that, you can't really see it, is the slot for the micro SD, or micro SIM, sorry. You can actually take the SIM out of your camera and plug that in here, and then this device will have data capabilities, so where you can stream directly from the device, and you know, you wouldn't have to use Wi-Fi or a network card. One thing I did neglect, there is a standard LAN port, so if you have wired network, that works exceptionally well. It does have Wi-Fi. It also has the capability, again, I believe it's a paid service with YoloLiv, that you can do some bridging. And what that means is it allows you to, again, set up with them, and you will be able to combine one or more of your data sources. So let's say you had your micro SIM in for your phone carrier and you had Wi-Fi set up, or you also had the LAN set up. Through their server, you can combine all those together and it will do some load balancing. So if you have one that kind of goes in and out of service, it will just help the stability of your stream. Again, we never use that, and I'm going to get to the cons here in a minute of why some of these features that we haven't used. The device, as you see on the display, is how it's going to be sold. There's no damage to our knowledge. Again, if you were able to see down at that tripod mount down there, is a little bit marred just from standard use. The screen is in perfect condition. It doesn't have any scratches or dings. It did come with a screen protector. We're actually cleaning that for this video and peeled it off and it broke. So I wasn't able to put that back on, so you will need to get a screen protector. It's not required, but always a recommendation if you had an LCD that certainly that you're touching, you're going to want a screen protector. Okay, cons. I mentioned that there was a con. Why are we selling this? We sell our supplies that we have reviewed, done everything that we're going to do, and we're not going to use it again. There are certain things that we haven't sold. We've got a couple of Mevo cameras on here. We're definitely going to keep those. We use them on a daily basis. This device we're selling in our surplus store because we don't use it. Does it work exceptionally well? Absolutely. YoloLiv has exceptional online support. They've got a couple of Facebook pages that offers some really good support. But here's why we don't use it. This device, YoloLiv, is a Chinese company. And yes, I get that nearly all electronics are made in that part of the world, and we don't have any problem with those people, with the manufacturing, any of that stuff. We do like to buy made in America whenever possible. There's nothing like this made in the United States, one of the reasons why we chose this. However, a hard line that we will not cross is that when a product is made and is controlled by that part of the world. If you know much about Chinese government, they are involved in every company over there. And so one of the hard lines that we will not cross is when the software and the hardware is made in that part of the world, and it requires you to log in to your credentials. And so if you wanted to stream directly to Facebook, if you wanted to stream directly to YouTube, even multiple outputs, you can log on and put your social media information on there. That means, in theory, the Chinese government has access to your social media. If that's important to you, it's important to us, then this product is probably not for you. If you sort of accept that risk, then I'm going to say this product is an exceptional option for you. Again, it's a couple of years old. It's still being sold. They have a couple of newer models out now. I believe the Ultra, which allows a couple more options. But this device has been exceptional in the field. It handles heat really, really well. It's got enough display power that you can see what you're doing out in the field. We have not had a heat-related failure. And really, the only time that I'll say I had a complication with a camera is maybe a USB camera that wasn't of great quality, disconnected, and it froze in the stream. That's kind of a big deal you don't really want, but I've never had that on an HDMI camera. And then so in that regard, your primary use, I don't think you're going to have any trouble. Again, the political involvement, the government involvement, if you're kind of like me, that's a hard line you won't cross. I would stay away from something like this. But for everybody else, it's a great product. Again, we sell all these surplus items on our shop store, not directly on our website. And the reason why we do that is because some of these more expensive electronics, it adds a little bit more seller protection and buyer protection. And hope that works for you. If you have more questions, don't hesitate to reach out. Josh@LynkSpyder.com. We'll see you guys.